Hello and welcome to another Stellarian Games video. In this episode, we're going to be looking at how to make some modular mine walls. These are meant to represent the reinforcing beams that would be put up inside of a mine shaft and allows the players to add just a little bit more depth to their imagination as they're playing in a mine scenario. They're still relatively short, so they don't block a lot of line of sight for the players as they're looking at their characters on the tabletop. But at the same time, they're modular and they can fit together and make corners or shafts of different sizes, etc. So in this episode, we're going to be taking a look at how to make them. This is a relatively simple, quick build, but I want to take my time and look through the painting in a little bit more detail on this one. So let's go to the table and see how this is done. Okay, to start this craft, we're going to use 3/4 inch XPS foam. I use the 3/4 inch simply because it doesn't impair a lot of the line of sight and yet gives enough height to play with some details to give it some interesting look on the tabletop. On the hot wire cutter, I'm just cutting out some random strips and trying to give it a little bit of unevenness as I'm cutting it through so that I don't have nice smooth walls. To roughen up the walls even further, I'm going back over to the table with a utility knife and scoring in lots of different directions, just some shallow cuts. Now I'm using a metal sculpting tool to pull apart some of that stone to make it look like it's chiseled or crumbling a little bit, and that the bracing of the timbers would be necessary. Add a little bit more texture. I'm using a rolled tinfoil ball and pressing it in. Now with some matchsticks pre-cut to the 3/4 inch height, just hot gluing those into position, and then some pre-cut angled sections as well, hot gluing those into position. You could use white glue on this as well, but I decided to use hot glue just so that it would go quickly for me. Now to add a little bit of weight to the bottom of these, I'm adding some small screws to the bottom so that they'll sit upright without tipping over very easily or blowing around on the tabletop. And these are ready for paint already. So we're going to use our black paint and Mod Podge mixture. If you want to know more about that, go over to the Black Magic Craft channel. He has a whole section on using the black paint and Mod Podge. Once that is dry, then I'm using some dark brown house paint, kind of a chocolate brown, and coating the entire side of the piece with this dark brown. I want this to be the base coat of the stone look. Then I'm using this sandy color. Again, this is simply house paint and giving the walls this sandy dry brush, leaving some of that dark brown exposed, but pretty heavy sand color as well. If you wanted to stop here for some sandstone walls, you could certainly do so. I wanted mine to have a little bit more of a hard stone look, so I'm using this kind of grayish cream that adds a little bit more of the hard stone look. Next, we're going to come in and put the detailed touches on all of the timbers that we put in place for the bracing. I'm just using a dark brown and a smaller brush to coat each of the timbers. And then I'm coming along with a kind of a rusty color and adding just a little bit of a dry brush over these to give those timbers a nice wooden look. If you wanted more of an aged look, you could probably leave it with the dark brown, but I wanted to add a little bit of a highlight with this lighter brown. And next we use a black wash and coat the entire piece. That really works into the crevices of each of the stones and into behind the timbers, etc. Lastly, we're going to use some black paint and coat the top of these pieces. The black paint in Mod Podge sometimes leaves a nice black coat, sometimes it's a little bit translucent. In this case, I needed to add a little bit more black paint to the top to give it a nice finished look. And here is the finished piece. As you can see, they're nice and modular. You can set up mine shafts going in different directions. You could make it actually a big opening underground if you needed to. But you can easily see the miniatures, but it gives the effect of having a mine shaft. So I hope you like this video. If you do, please hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. And again, if you'd like to share this video, that would be much appreciated. We're close to the 800 mark at the time of recording this, and it would be great if we could push that over 800 subscribers. So thank you for all of your support, and we'll see you again next time.